If you've been avoiding pancakes because you're trying to eat healthier, I think you're giving up more than you actually have to. When I stopped eating a bunch of carbohydrates, I actually thought pancakes were one of those things that I'd probably never really have again unless I just decided to cheat on the diet that I was on. And honestly, I've realized it wasn't just the pancakes that I missed. It was more of the special Saturday morning breakfasts, the family connection, all of the things that we tend to associate with the typical pancake breakfast. And I realized that that meant that eating healthier sort of made it feel like my life got a little bit smaller. And the good news is, it doesn't actually have to be that way anymore. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make the locals' secret pancakes from my new cookbook, Eat Your Meat, Love Your Life. And I'm going to show you how you can get pancakes back in your life. A lot of pancake recipes that are supposed to be healthy end up being really dry, or they just taste like eggs. Not really a fan of that. Also, a lot of the protein powders and things people try to make pancakes out of, they're just not that good, and they end up not really tasting anything like pancakes. It's honestly kind of like eating a squishy, spongy scrambled egg most of the time, or some kind of a chalky, powdery, protein-based thing, and I'm not really a fan of those. So I worked really hard to try to come up with something that is as close to a real pancake as I possibly can. And these have gotten some rave reviews from other people who have tried them. So let me pull out some ingredients and let's talk about why mine work the way they do, why they're different, and why I think you're really going to enjoy these low-carb pancakes that actually taste like the real thing. This all happens mostly in a single bowl, and if you mix all of this together, minus the baking soda, which is the last thing that goes in, and you let it sit for a few minutes while you preheat a pan, that's actually going to do what essentially would be the baker's equivalent of an auto-lease, where flour absorbs moisture. We're going to do the same thing because this has some egg white powder in it. So here's how we throw these together. This is real simple. We have 3/4 of a cup of sour cream. If you want to use something like Greek yogurt, you can, but you may need to adjust the egg white powder a little bit depending on how thick your yogurt is. If it's a really thick yogurt, you should probably be just fine, but if it's a little more watery, you might need some more egg white powder. Next, I'm going to use 2 large eggs. I'm going to separate them. The yolk is going to go in with the sour cream. The whites are going to go into a separate bowl because we're going to use some of the whites. We just might not use all of them. So we're going to put that in a separate bowl over here. And the easiest way to separate your eggs to make sure you don't break your yolk and make a mess is to dump the yolk into your hand and let the white slip through your fingers. It's especially helpful if your egg does not break cleanly and you have shards sticking out. That way you don't pop that yolk while you're trying to separate it. And it's especially helpful if you're doing things like my egg white breads, where you need to be able to whip the egg whites because you don't want any fat. So our yolks go in with the sour cream, and we're just going to keep the whites over here off to the side. This is 1/2 teaspoon of white vinegar. That's just going to bring a little more acidity to this mixture because we're going to need that acidity to react with the baking soda, which is what's going to leaven this at the end. We're not going to add that yet, but that little bit of vinegar will increase the acidity of the sour cream, which is kind of the bulk of this recipe. Next, we're going to go ahead and get 2 tablespoons of butter melted, and I'll pour that in there as well. So we're going to add our melted butter in with sour cream and egg yolks. So we're going to grab a tablespoon measuring spoon, and we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of these egg whites. So there might be a little bit left over. That's fine. This is what's going to give us structure that holds these together when they cook. If they're not holding together, you can go ahead and add the additional little bit of egg whites that are here in the bowl, but about 3 tablespoons should be plenty. By not having that extra egg white in there, you're also not going to get as much steam, which means these won't have that spongy, eggy texture. So I'm going to start mixing this all together and get the egg yolks incorporated with all of the butter, the egg whites, and the sour cream. And then we're just going to sprinkle in 1 tablespoon of gelatin and 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of egg white powder. We'll do that slowly while the mixer is running on a low to medium speed. So that way you don't get clumps that you then have to try to work out of your mixture in the end. Once you have that all generally incorporated, crank it up on high and mix it until it's nice and smooth. Last thing we need to add is just a large pinch of salt. And that's our pancake mixture minus the baking soda. Now we're not adding the baking soda yet because again, we want the proteins in this to hydrate. This is what's gonna make them nice and smooth and not taste dry and crumbly. You can see we have a nice pancake batter texture. As this sits, it may thicken just a little bit. So if you need to, you can add a splash of water and mix it in really, really well to get that pancake batter texture, but that's what we're looking for. So I have my pancake batter. I have my little bit of baking soda, it's a half of a teaspoon. We're going to add that right before we start to make the pancakes. So while this sits and it hydrates, I'm gonna go ahead and get out a griddle pan or a skillet, nonstick ideally, or you can use whatever you would like to make pancakes. We're gonna get it preheated over kind of a medium heat. We don't want it too hot because we don't wanna burn these, but we don't want it too low to where all of those CO2 bubbles escape before we actually get it to seal and coagulate those egg proteins. Let's go ahead and pull out a skillet and I'll show you how we cook these up. And then I'm gonna give you some ideas of how you top them to make it feel like that traditional Saturday morning breakfast. Now that our pancake batter has sat here and it has hydrated, we're gonna give it one more mix, just make sure it's nice and smooth. My pan is preheated, so we're just about ready to cook. I'm gonna go ahead and add my baking soda right on top, and I'm going to immediately on high mix it through really, really well so it's distributed, and that way the gelatin and the egg proteins can hold on to the CO2 bubbles it will create. And that's gonna give us lift in our pancake. So we dump, we mix, and we get ready to cook. To keep everything warm, if you want, you can cook these one at a time and then put them in an oven, 170 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna get my oven turned on and grab a plate. Let's make some pancakes. My pan is preheated. I have a little bit of melted butter. You could use bacon grease, you can use beef tallow, whatever you want. We wanna add just a very thin coating of some kind of animal fat. You do not want this too greasy, so just brush a really thin coating and have some more standing by. Only add more if the pancakes seem like they're kind of starting to stick a little bit. I think the easiest way to do this is a 1/4 cup measuring cup. That seems to be about the right size, so we can just scoop and make pancakes. As you start to cook your pancakes, you're going to see little bubbles start to rise up through your pancake batter, and the edges of the pancake, they start to turn glossy, and then they start to turn a little bit matte as they're cooking through as those bubbles are rising. This is pretty typical with pancake batter of any kind. Once that's done that, and it's cooked for 2 to 3 minutes aside, depending on your skillet and your heat, your stove, everything, size of your pancakes, thickness, that's when it's time to flip. They should easily release. Flip them over in one confident motion. And as you flip your pancakes, resist the temptation to press down. We've worked really hard to get all of those CO2 bubbles that are inside the pancake, which gives it that light, fluffy texture. We don't want to squish that out when they're still not cooked. What's really cool is when you cook like this, these actually kind of smell like normal pancakes when they cook. You get that kind of almost caramelly green sort of smell in the air. It's probably because of the gelatin, the egg white powder, and those little bit of egg yolks that are in there, which is also why they brown. Now, you could also add some allulose to these if you want them to be a little sweet and you want them to brown. I don't find it necessary though. Once they easily release from the second side, they're done. Let's make the rest of the batch and then I'll show you how we finish this breakfast. The pancakes are done. They are in the oven staying warm. We're gonna pull them out and plate them up in a second. In my cookbook, I show you guys how to make a maple syrup substitute with allulose. It tastes honestly just like the real thing. That is fantastic. But if you maybe don't have the time on the weekends to get something like that done for the family, I've also really been enjoying this. This is the Switch pancake syrup, sweet and buttery, 0 sugar, 0 glycemic, 0 net carbs, and 0 bad stuff, it says. We really like Switch. I'll link it down below if you guys want to try it. It might be just a convenient option to serve with your pancakes. Let's get those out of the oven and let's give them a taste. All right, let's see if Saturday morning breakfast is back.
I hope it is.
I hope it is.
I like the little CCN.
You like CCN pancake?
I do. Very good.
This is one of your favorite recipes that I make, I know.
It is. No egg flavor. Literally tastes just like pancakes. Absolutely delicious. Easy to make too. These came together super quick. Also really dig the Switch syrup, so much so that I'm gonna add a little bit more. These are amazing. Honestly, I think you could feed these to anybody and they wouldn't know that they just weren't pancakes.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
If your church has like a breakfast y'all do, you got the grandkids. Yeah, and it's one of my favorite recipes in this amazing cookbook.
One batch makes 6 to 8 pancakes, depending on the size you make.
They're very, very filling, very rich, very good.
These bring back that Saturday morning breakfast as a family, that vibe, that special pancake thing. I remember being a kid waking up smelling pancakes and I knew it was going to be a special breakfast because we didn't do it very often. This brings that back, and I've got a whole bunch of other recipes in the cookbook that do the exact same thing. There's 130 recipes in this. I'll put the pre-order link down below for you guys. Make these carnivore pancakes, enjoy them, top them however you want, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye guys.